Hello, and welcome to tonight's Bible study as we continue to go through the Bible. We're in the book of Mark, chapter 14, and Jesus is preparing to enter Jerusalem one more time. And so the chapter opens that the chief priests had determined that they were going to crucify Jesus, but not during the festival, not during the festival of unleavened bread and Passover, but after it, because they feared a riot by Jesus' disciples and those that followed him. And so they had come to their agreement that this was going to happen, just not right now. But Jesus is Lord of all and of all things. And so they did not get their way. And we're going to find that out in this lesson. So Jesus was in Bethany, and he was at the house of Simon the leper. And a woman came in carrying an alabaster jar, and she broke the bottle, and in it was very costly perfume. It said of pure nard. I feel like looking up what is nard and try to find some information on that because it's something foreign to us. But it was very costly perfume, and a year's wages. The disciples said they were indignant that she poured it out over top of Jesus' head, and Jesus said, what she has done is a good thing, that she was preparing his body for burial. They said the money they could have sold this, and that the money could have been used to feed the poor. But Jesus said, the poor you will always have, but me you only have for a short while. And what she has done, he said, will be preached as a memorial to her uh, for all eternity. And so it is to us today. And so they go on into Jerusalem, and the two disciples said to him, Master, do you want us to go and prepare the Passover for you? And he said, Yes, go into the city, and you'll see a man that greets you with a water jar. Follow him to the house he goes to, and there at that house, tell the master that his master has need of a room to celebrate the Passover with his disciples. And they did exactly what he said. A man had greeted them as they entered the city with a water jar. They followed him, and the owner of the house gladly gave the room to Jesus to celebrate the Passover with his disciples. And so they came and had their Passover meal together, and Jesus told them, somebody that is reclined at this table with me, yes, one of the 12, is going to betray me. And they all said, Is it me, Lord? Is it me, Lord? And one by one they all asked. And Jesus said, the one who dips his bread with me, which means he was sitting right next to him, is the one who will betray me. And in the Mark account, it does not say uh, that Jesus told Judas, go and do what you have to do. Uh, so he had let Judas know that he knew it was him. So then, here in the Gospel Mark, it tells that Jesus had the Passover meal for them. He said, "This is my body, which is broken for you." And they took and ate the bread. Then he said, "This is the cup of my blood, which is poured out for you. Drink this in remembrance of me." And so Jesus told them, "I will not drink this cup again until my kingdom comes in glory." And so not until his kingdom is established here on the earth again will he drink that cup. Maybe at the wedding feast of the Lamb. And so that is when his kingdom is coming. And that's an awesome thing. Can't wait till that wedding celebration, because there'll be some great wine there. And the celebration will be amazing. Don't get drunk, though, in heaven. No drunkards in heaven, okay? Let me see if we can see my eyes a little bit. Looks a little bit creepy with the shadows cast, when the shadows are cast on your eyes and you can't see any eyes. But I once told the one youth pastor of the church, it looks creepy because your eyes are always in the shadows and you can't see your eyes at all. And so I think he put some footlights. That's what they have footlights for, because the spotlights cast shadows on the top. So you need the footlights to look up and shine some light on your eyes. We aren't supposed to live in the shadows. We're supposed to be in the light as he is in the light, correct? And so this all happened, and then Jesus took his disciples out to the Mount of Olives, and Jesus took Peter, James, and John with him and went out a little bit farther away from the disciples and prayed. And Jesus said, he had told all the disciples before they even had got there that they were all going to betray him. And they all said, "We will never do that." Of course, Peter was the one that started and said, "Though all deny you, I will never deny you." And they all said the same. But they all did run from him and deny him that night. But Jesus told Peter, "You're going to deny me 3 times before the rooster crows twice." And so Jesus, there in the Garden of Gethsemane, prayed and told them, "Stand watch with me and pray that you don't get tempted." And they did stay with him, but as he went to pray and said, "Lord, if it's possible, take this cup from me. Nevertheless, not my will be done, but your will be done," they all fell asleep. Funny, this evening, even as I was listening to this upstairs, I fell asleep. It was like, oh my goodness. I fell asleep while I was listening to it, and then had to wake up and go back and reread everything. And so Jesus goes back out again and prays again, and comes back, finds the disciples sleeping, doesn't say anything to him that time. Goes back out and prays a third time. And then he comes back and says, "Are you still sleeping? Behold, uh, the Son of Man is being betrayed in the hands of the Gentiles. Get up." And they got up, and there was Judas with the a small army that came to arrest Jesus. And Judas had uh, told them that the man that he kissed would be Jesus. And Judas came up and kissed him. And then Peter, waking up, coming to his senses, he takes a sword and cuts off the ear of the servant of the high priest. And we're not told in this gospel account, but Jesus takes that ear and heals that servant of the high priest. So Jesus is arrested. All the disciples take off. Mark writes this, and in his account it says, a young man, which Mark would have been very young then, said they grabbed a hold of his tunic, and it said that the young man ran away naked. And so Mark, most likely, was the first streaker in recorded history. And so he streaked down the mountainside, the Mount of Olives. So they take Jesus to the high priest, and the high priest listened to testimony from lots of people, but none of the testimonies agreed. And then two of the men said that Jesus said he would destroy the temple, and in 3 days he would rebuild it, but not with hands. And then the high priest asked him about that. He said, "Aren't you going to say anything?" And he said that you're going to see the Son of Man coming in glory and sitting at the right hand of God the Father in heaven. And they said, "You've heard it. He is blasphemed." They ripped their garments, and they said he is worthy of death. And all of them voted to have Jesus crucified. So they take him to Pilate, and they put a blindfold on him. They spit on him. They hit him. Hadn't gone to Pilate yet. This is what the high priests and his soldiers were doing. And then it tells of Peter, who goes in behind the group that took Jesus in. He goes into the courtyard of the high priest and is warming himself by the fire. And the servant girl there sees him and says, "You're one of those followers of Jesus. I saw you with him tonight." And he said, "You basically, you're crazy. I was not with him tonight." And then he goes to another fire, and she comes back over. "I'm sure that you were with him. I saw you with him." And he cursed and denied it again. And then, as he was standing there, the men said, "You are a Galatian. You are one of his disciples, or a Galilean." you are one of his disciples. Your voice uh, identifies you as being one of him, one from Galilee. And then he started cursing and swearing with an oath that he didn't know him. And when he did, the rooster crowed a second time. Then Peter remembered what Jesus had said, and he went out and wept bitterly. And Mark chapter 14 comes to an end. And how much we should weep for the times when we have denied the Lord, when we have not been a good witness for the Lord. And so let's not do it anymore, but be a good witness for him. Lift him up and speak the words of God that help bring life to those who do not believe. That is Mark chapter 14. I pray that you will be blessed tomorrow in all that you do, and that you might find an opportunity to be a blessing to one soul tomorrow. And make your preparations to get to the house of the Lord on Sunday. I've made my preparations and plan on serving on Sunday, which I haven't done in a good long while. 2 weeks ago, I had to go on COVID quarantine and failed to be able to serve. So this week, I plan on doing it. And I'll be back at the Howard Theater this Sunday at Passion City Church. And I'll be thankful to be there and see my friends. God bless you all, and hope that you have a blessed night and day tomorrow. And I'll see you tomorrow night as we continue to go through the Bible. We'll be in Mark chapter 15. God bless you, and have a great night.